Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good Friday morning to all of our participants. Actually, for today's session, this session will be done in a dual language, Bahasa and English. So feel free to use your best language here today. No worries. So for today, this is not a formal session. Actually, this is some sort of a sharing session for those who are interested and accepted the invitation for today's session. So we are actually really grateful to have all of you to become our special audience today. All right. So before we start, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Zikri. You can call me Zikri or Zik as well, better. And then alongside is my colleague, Mr. Hardy. You can check Mr. Hardy. Yes, Mr. Hardy with the white shirt. Okay, and then we also have Puan Kurniawati. Actually, three of us is from the Industry Support Division of Bioeconomy Corporation. I think before this, we also known as Biotech Corp. All right. So for your information, these sessions, the Tech Network session is an online sharing session crafted by Bioeconomy Corporation to help researchers or maybe research institute or an individual researcher to channel their technology or maybe their know-how to other parties such as investors, local entrepreneurs, SMEs, and maybe some interested public who are interested in the HPP or the topic of the Tech Network session. So for your information, this session will be our second session out of 4 sessions for this year. And you are welcome to join us again for our 2 upcoming sessions in October and also November this year. You can register once again, okay? All right, so before that, I want to introduce our main person today, all right? Which is a professional from University Putra Malaysia, TS Associate Professor Dr. Nuranizan Muhammad Azhan is a professional technologist at University Putra Malaysia. She served as a Deputy Dean at the Faculty of Food Science and Technology, and also a member of various committees for food standards and regulations. All right. So her research is mainly on fruits and vegetables processing, focusing on non-thermal processing technologies, and her work on ultraviolet light, food irradiation, and pulse light technology generally has the objective of educating and training food technopreneurs. And these technologies were applied for food modification, preservation, and also innovation. She has mentored students, researchers, and entrepreneurs across Southeast Asia and in product innovation to produce an award-winning products. Okay, so her recent project is on application of non-thermal processing for heritage foods. Okay, we can ask her later after this again about this one. It's quite interesting. With the booming of halal industry, she also works on innovating foods based on the principles in halal science. Her education and training included a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science from University Putra Malaysia, as well as PhD in food science from Cornell University. So a quite short introduction of Dr. Nuranizan binti Muhammad Azhan for today. So I will pass this session for Dr. Nora. Are you ready, Dr. Nora? So I think I will pass the session to you. So the online session is yours, Dr. Nuranizan.
Okay,
Please.
thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. So thank you, Encik Zikri, for the introduction. I would also like to thank Bioeconomy Corporation for giving me this opportunity to share a bit on high pressure processing. So some of you might already know this technology, but I think there are still some who's not familiar with this technology. So the objective of today is to increase awareness so that we could all learn a bit about what it can do and how it can help the food industry in Malaysia. Should I share the slide now, Encik Zikri?
Yes, please, Doctor. Please. Thank you. So for the participant, maybe I can give advice that you may mute your microphone until the end of the session. So after the end of the session of the Dr. Nora's presentation, you may turn on if you have any question. And you also may ask question, pre-ask question using the Google Meet chat box at the right side of your Google Meet platform. Thank you.
Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So I think I'll start. Okay. So allow me to speak both in English and also Bahasa Malaysia for the convenience of some of the audience that we have today. I understand that we also have some participants from Indonesia, so welcome. This is how we're going to do the presentation. We'll start with consumer demands, and then we'll go a bit into the basics of non-thermal processes, and then we'll go deep into high pressure processing, looking into various applications and how we can assist SMEs and also larger companies to further embark in the world of high pressure technology, and then we'll conclude at the end. So I have only about 30 minutes to present, and I have about 40 slides, but we'll try to make it quick and sweet. Yeah. Okay, the world of consumer is actually a very mysterious world. There's a lot of demands by consumer. Looking at this boy, when he goes to the supermarket, it must be such a big world for him out there because there's so many products. And this boy, he has his own needs and wants. Dia ada keperluan dan kehendak dia yang tersendiri. Jadi consumer, they always like options which suit them. They like to be treated like the king or queen, and so especially for those who have special needs. So it is the job of us food manufacturers to provide and try to fit in with the demands of consumers. But before doing that, we must first know what is the landscape, how does it look like, who are the competitors, and what is the target market for our company, who are we targeting. So when we talk about demands, the list is always never ending, and this is just part of the list. But I'm happy to say that high pressure processing could help fulfill some of these demands that consumer want. And looking at those Mr. Smileys, those are some of the characteristics that high pressure processing could provide. And let's hope this is an option that consumer will be looking forward to support in the future. Okay, going into the basics of non-thermal technologies. So what are these technologies? Non-thermal, from the name you can tell that there's no heat or thermal treatment being applied, or the temperature increment during processing and after processing is not significant because because non-thermal treatment doesn't have the negative impact of thermal technology. The products obtained are usually close to fresh, and close to fresh is one of the
Dr. Nora. Dr. Nora, kami tak dengar suara Dr. Nora.
Oh, dah lama ke?
Okey. Baru je. Okey.
Baru saja.
Teruskan.
Okay.
Terima kasih.
Is this good?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we look at the blue list, those are non-thermal technologies that are already successful in the commercial area. Those in the dark colored ataupun black colored text are those that are actively being researched in the labs but have yet to make it into the commercial world. So yang paling popular ialah irradiation dan juga high pressure processing and also supercritical CO2. UV is being used in both food and also non-food industries, but today let's just focus on high pressure processing. If we look at Google Trends from the past 10 years, HPP, the trend is increasing, the red line, yeah? And irradiation is fairly stable, but it's going down. For the purple and green lines, those are still actively being researched in lab. Jadi tak ada banyak carian lagi ya di dalam Google Trends. Orang belum kenal lagi. Now let's look at what are the key benefits of HPP. Of course, when dealing with food, we always look into whether the food is safe, whether it's nutritious. So safety comes first. This technology can achieve a 5-log reduction of pathogens or spoilage organisms. So this is very important to ensure safety of the product. Because of this, the life of food can be extended, and also it enables clean label. So clean label, I'll talk about this later in my coming slides. So this is no use of preservatives or trying to use everything that is natural. Reduces food waste, so because you can extend the life of food products during glut season, this could really help if you know how to use high pressure for products that are coming in secara bermusim ya, bila ada glut issues. So because non-thermal processing ataupun HPP tidak menggunakan heat treatment, nutritional value, taste and texture are all maintained close to fresh, as if it was not processed at all. And of course, brand reputation, due to the safety level and also quality that we have, it reduces the risk of having the products being recalled. HPP is considered as an invisible processing technique because you cannot see it, you cannot see pressure. The difference is microorganism counts, microbial counts is less than untreated products or raw products. So that is what's good or what's different about HPP. It's all the same, like raw, like fresh, but it's safer to be eaten. So HPP is also a technology which is already approved by certain authorities, and in this case it's the High Pressure Council, where you can apply for your product to be high pressure certified. So you can use this logo to acknowledge that you have gone through a good process, and this is good for consumers to know. Premium quality is because there's no heat treatment. So your product still have all the good things in it, and because of its premium quality, it always catches the attention of consumers. Consumers, mostly if you interview them, they are willing to pay more for premium products. So many consumers would be willing to spend a bit more for good quality products. I mentioned clean label earlier, so this is a movement led by consumer groups. So consumer now, they want responsible processing. They want products to be clean. Clean here means short list of ingredients. If you buy tomato sauce, you would want to see only tomato extract, water, and maybe sugar and salt. That's it. You don't want to see strange names in the ingredient list. And some consumers also want to know, were the tomatoes grown responsibly? If it's an animal product, was the animal welfare of the product taken care of? Things like that. So they want fresh, less processed, and responsible processing. So 76% of people are more likely to buy products with ingredients they know and trust. So they want clean, lean, and green. Lean means short ingredient list. If we look at Burger King, this is last week's news. Whopper from Burger King is now without artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives. So this is where we're heading. In the 80s, processed food seems to be very hip, but now people do not want processed food anymore. They want less processed food. Okay. So now let's dig deep into HPP. This is actually a technique to preserve food products using water and high pressure without the use of heat to inactivate foodborne pathogens and spoilage organisms with minimal effects to the nutritional and sensory profile of food. So how does HPP inactivate bacteria? It's by destroying the membrane of the bacterial cell as well as the DNA of the bacteria. So DNA is the part where it helps the bacteria replicate, so you prevent them from growing in numbers and you prevent them from surviving using HPP. These are typical in-pack range for HPP products. In-pack means you need to pack your products. Makanan perlu dibungkus sebelum HPP treatment. There are also equipments that could treat your products and then pack later, but most of the equipments that are available currently are in-pack range. Okay, so you need to pack your product first and then you HPP treat the product. So when we talk about high pressure, some of you might ask, how high is high? Can you imagine how high HPP is? If you look at Everest, Everest is 8,000 meters upwards, the highest point upwards. But if you go downwards, because if you talk about high pressure, you need to go downwards, the sea level is 1 bar or 0.1 megapascal. We need to go to the deepest part of the ocean, and that's called the Mariana Trench. And we're going further than Everest. Everest is 8,000 meters. Now we're going down 10,000 meters. Okay, so that is about 100 megapascal. For HPP, if you want to process food at 600 megapascal, that is 6,000 times more than the sea level. So that's how high the pressure is. If you still cannot imagine, remember in science, pressure is force over area. So imagine two giant elephants standing on a 10-cent coin. These are typical food that are being processed using HPP. So you've got the protein range, meat products, beverages, coffees and teas, dips and wet salads, pet food, this is something new, seafood, and also other applications like ready meals. Let's look at the trends based on category. For meat product and seafood, this is a mature market. It's very steady. Juices and beverage, this is the all-time favorite, the most popular category. Dips, it goes up and down, it's seasonal. For wet salad and baby food, this is on the rise. Baby food is getting more and more popular now. For pet food, it's new, but it's rising like crazy, especially in the US. More and more orders are being placed for pet food products. For dairy, this needs to be researched further, and the future is ready-to-eat meal. So this is how things work in HPP. Products that are packed is placed on the in the basket on a conveyor belt and being pushed into the vessel. So you have the vessel, and then they will clamp the vessel and fill up the whole vessel with water, low pressure water, and start pumping to a pressure that we are targeting. Say 300 megapascal, it will pump and compress the products at 300 megapascal, hold it for certain minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, for example, and then decompress and release the pressure. After releasing the pressure, water will be released from the vessel and products will come out as clean products. In high pressure processing, because we use water, it's called hydrostatic pressure. So pressure comes from all direction with the same value. So you get the same pressure from left, right, top and bottom, so that your packages won't break. I will talk about packaging materials later, but now let's look into the different pressures and different applications. At lower pressure, normally we use meat extraction processes, seafood shucking or deshelling, and for pasteurization or microbial inactivation is normally done between 300 and 600 megapascal. So I mentioned pasteurization. This is something that we really need to take note of. This is not sterilization, it's pasteurization, meaning food coming out of the HPP equipment must be refrigerated for safety. If you want, because at 300 to 600 megapascal, we cannot inactivate spores. If we want to inactivate spores, it has to be coupled with thermal treatment. And I'm talking pressure above 800 megapascal, maybe around 1200 megapascal, combined with a temperature of probably 80 degrees Celsius or more. So that's extreme treatment to inactivate spores. So now we're talking, what I'm going to share with you today is below 600 megapascal. So why do companies use HPP? There are many different reasons. Most of them is for pasteurization or decontamination after packaging, just to make sure that there's no cross-contamination, or you can decontaminate, or meat extraction for seafood or shell products. Some venture into HPP for clean label effort. Yeah, it's an alternative for clean label because you're not using preservatives, and you can use preservatives, but normally people would opt for biopreservatives. Some use HPP for infusion of various materials into plant products, for example, to reduce cooking time in rice or beans. Some use HPP merely for export requirements, especially to countries that are strict, like in Europe or in Japan. And there are companies who said when they use HPP, they could skip the quarantine process. So that makes things a lot quicker and products can get to customers in a shorter time. So these are the advantages which I've mentioned earlier: quality, safety, clean label, no waste, and good reputation.